So, well, I mean, this was a day or two ago, yeah. Gibraltar and Britain, think about this. Gibraltar and Britain agree deal to hand control of border to Europe. Now, there's so many things wrong with this, yeah, but what people should be working out is your input is not required. Your obedience is required, yeah. Anyway, so it's the deception again from Labour that does it for me. Lemmy flies over in the dead of night, signs off on a deal the public aren't allowed to know about. Then they try to bury the news by timing it to coincide with the spending review and PMQs. It's really dodgy stuff. He's quite correct. I'll leave you a link to Patrick Christie's. And of course, as you hear the snoring in the background, I suddenly went quiet when I said the snoring in the background. Yeah, that's this individual. That's Bella. That's what she's, well, all about.
Gonna be recording while I'm on the phone with my mate Al. And in pops Bella. And she wants me to know. Don't you, Bella? You want me to know what? What is it that you want me to know, Bella? What is it you're after?
I mean, there I was on a great mate of mine, Al. And she picks that time. Hey, Dad, how about you take me somewhere? You know, walk. Yeah.
So,
certainly not shy.
you're quite quiet just now. You're certainly not quiet in my videos, are you? Rawr. Now go on then, talk to me.
This is the individual.
You're camera shy now. You're quite camera shy.
This sneaky conniving nonsense. Yeah? When she wants out, she starts doing this. Look at me, Dad. The cute yawn. Seriously.
Alright, the cute yawn.
Yep.
So, by the way, she always does the cute yawn when she wants to get out, don't you?
Devious get. Love her to bits. Anyway, so that explains the noises occasionally in the background of my videos. But yeah, think about that. Think about how your input's not required. Your obedience is. Yeah? All the illusion about Brexit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I remember even at the time David Icke doing a video, going, yeah, we've cracked it. Yeah, okay, how many years later? What is it, 9 now? Something like that? Yeah, seriously. But yeah, how did the Daily Mail cover it? What life is really like in Gibraltar. The Rock. Is like stepping back into 70s Britain. Think about the wording of this. Complete with retro shops and red phone boxes. Ah, dear God. Honestly. Ah, dear God. What I will say to, well, many of the Masons that, you know, they keep in touch. And look, I'm not, there's some Masons that I know and have good conversations with. I despise Freemasonry and, well, pretty much all of the occultist shenanigans, yeah? Many of them profess to be that, oh, Scott, I mean, I signed up for X, Y, and Z, but I had no idea, you know? But, and those that keep in touch, many of them with, you know, a decent, more than a decent amount of wealth. Although you'd never notice that, hey, you're just a friend. If I have to start paying you for anything, fucking great, yeah. How about, like, good advice? Anyway, because I've felt, you know, some of them go off to various, well, just how, shall we say, areas that are under, for example, the Spanish flag or whatever. I just get the feeling that they're being conned as well. You know, many of the underlying Masons, you know, that, you know, they feel that they're in touch with much. I mean, a lot of Masonry will go, I have no idea. Look, what people like Scott are saying, nah, I've never come across it. You know, it's always just been about, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, when you look at the bigger picture, seriously, there's masonry and there's masonry. I mean, I've heard this term, what's it called? Porch masons? which apparently, they're useful idiot underlings, blah, 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 that, know how to keep a secret, but generally don't know the bigger picture. And of course, intergenerationally, there's an awful lot of that, but for those that reach higher echelons of various, fraternities and groups, they apparently, as they ascend, because it's all about ascension, a lot of what you're seeing is about ascension, is this belief that they gain more wisdom as they go up, blah blah blah. But many in masonry are, well, quite low down that totem pole. But it doesn't exclude them from doing deeds through an obligation, and they don't need to know it all. They're just told to do something, and they'll do it. Blah blah blah. For most people, are like, look, Scott, you're making no sense. And I'd say fair point to you, fair play, but I just do get the feeling that there's an awful lot of deception, not just to the public, but to many of these useful underlings, because ultimately, let's be honest, we live in a business, and this is all about fine-tuning it. Now look at it, it's terraforming across the world, right? They now absolutely control every single fucking country and every single resource in these countries, run by various puppets with obligations and serviced by, whatever iteration, depending on the country, of a kind of civil service and, civil society, etc., blah, blah, blah. But I do think an awful lot of people with wealth are going to be screwed big style, while they think that they're actually getting ahead of the game and that, they're in touch with much. And I do think that now you're in a situation where, even in places like Gibraltar, which is supposed to be a sort of, a British, an extension of Britain, really, essentially, an overseas territory. That's the terminology. I keep saying, overseas territory. Yeah. I think an awful lot of people are going to be disappointed with what they thought they were networked with. I do feel that. Yeah. And obviously now that, well, how British is it when, you've still got to have to, show your passport to the Spanish, And this will extend, and I start wondering, and maybe I should look into more detail. How about the Isle of Man, Jersey, Guernsey, Sark, a few other places, and all the options that the supposedly clued up underling Masons have been rushing to and putting money into and property to and blah blah blah. It's just a thought. For some people, this video will make no sense, and probably most people, yeah. But I'm trying to drop the hint to multiple people at the same time here. Have you thought this through? And to the general public, well, you've just been told that your fucking input means nothing. Yeah, Brexit is just an illusion, and just look at the United Nations. In all honesty, as regards, well, what at least they're showing in public as regards policy. You look at Scotland. Single thing that Scottish Parliament's implemented is being based on United Nations policy. So how the fuck have we got any kind of sovereignty? Then just expand that to look at any other fucking country you like. And, none of this should be rocket science. And I would love to have a lot more subscribers, and people could say, well, do better videos, Scott. What I'm looking for is motivation. And if I'm not fucking giving enough decent information up until this point that deserves far more subs than I've got, come on, seriously.